A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Just Africa. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Oyim Priye Krumale. Now on the program, it's where we explore the continent's most pressing issues, breakthroughs, innovations, and inspiring stories shaping our collective future. Today, we focus on one of Africa's most urgent and defining themes, youth, governance, and the fight for inclusion. Now, with over 60% of its population under 25, Africa is the youngest continent on Earth. Yet, its leadership, governance, structures, and economic systems remain dominated by older generations. The question is not just about representation. It's about how Africa harnesses the creativity, the energy, and the potential of its youth population in the corridors of power, in policymaking, and in development. You know, these days, everybody calls themselves the youths. Hello, Moivi.
Yeah, good afternoon, Pri.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lagos, Nigeria, and Africa at large. Welcome to Just Africa, and I am Omivi Idolor. This topic is very sensitive. Very important.
Why is it sensitive? I think it's a normal thing.
Yeah. When we get to the political aspect of it, you know that it is.
Okay, is it because politicians who are 70-year-olds, 90-year-olds will tell you, hey, I am a youth. I am a youth, youthful in my blood.
Yeah, exactly. Now you get it. So you see, when we talk about youth inclusion, we are not just talking about policies. We are not just talking about politics. We are talking. It actually involves three things: demographic, policies, business, and what is the third one again?
Business, economic development.
You know, it surrounds those three demographics. Now, when we talk about the demographic, Africa has the largest. We have the market for these things. The youth here, from statistics these days, they tell you 35, but I think it used to be 40. But we have like 60% of it. So we have the people. We have the manpower. When we talk about the business side of it, we have it. When we talk about the creativity, we have all these things. The economic part of it, we have youth that are now into businesses. We can't mention brands here, but you also know that it was young people that some young chaps were the ones that came up with the idea of some of this mobile banking that we have these days.
Fintech.
You understand, and the rest. So you can see that, yes, we have all the people, all the youth that can actually do this. Okay. Now, when we talk about governance, that is where we are not talking about policies. These youth, are they really part of the policy-making process? The answer is no. We have just like 3% of youth as members of parliamentary.
Of the parliament.
You get it? We have just like 3% of it. You get that? So now, are we really included? Are the youth really included in policy making? Even the policies that are being made by the older generations who still believe that they are
youths
in their blood,
in their minds, in their hearts,
in their hearts of hearts, do they make policies that actually favor the younger generation? Okay. Are they ready to hand over power to the people, to the young ones?
It's not handed over. Power is gotten.
So they have to take it.
You have to take it.
So the other ones are still holding it. So you see, there are so many factors. There are so many things that we really need to talk about when it comes to inclusion here. Okay. The businesses, the policies, the demographic, and so many more. Okay. You understand? So that's something that we can actually look at. That's something we can actually discuss today. And I'm very, very, very much interested in this topic.
Great. Not only you, myself, and I am sure the guests that we'll be having today. Now, I know we're talking about the youth and the demographic, which is specific to policy, business, economy, and development. Let's intimate you further with how this is concerned. Now, what's the meaning of Africa's next generation, youth, governance, and the fight for inclusion? This theme explores how young people in Africa are demanding greater involvement in the annals of power, in governance, in leadership, and in decision-making. It is about bridging the gap between the youth majority and the political minority that governs the entire populace. It also emphasizes the need to integrate the youth voices into economic planning, business ecosystem, and social development, while confronting the barriers such as unemployment, tokenism, weak institutions, and generational resistance. Talking about generational resistance, now do remember, we will not completely say, I will not completely take side with Omivi, which said that they've not given power to the youth. They've not given power to the youth. Yes, she has some form of point when she argues that, and I think we're also going to explore that part of the conversation. But remember, not too young to run bill was passed by the former administration. They said memories of former President Muhammadu Buhari. It was passed in Parliament. That means the age for Nigeria, the age that is required to become the president of the country should be about 45, thereabout. I think it was cut down to, it was brought down to about 40, or it was left at 45. To be in the Senate, it's about 40 or 45, including the House of Representatives. It was brought down to about 35 or 40. To become a governor or to become a member of the state houses of assembly, the age was also reviewed. So if we're looking at the age, and age had been an obstacle for the youth participation in Nigerian politics, I know we are talking about Africa entirely, then we could see that the National Assembly has reviewed the Constitution to accommodate the younger people. So now, is that the only thing that can be done?
No, why I am on the other side, I know you're on the side of the coin.
Not completely, I said you had some form of advantage in your
It is not about making laws. We always talk about the implementation, right? You're smiling, we're talking about the implementation. Now, when you make those kind of laws, the political parties are also supposed to make laws that accommodate those young ones. Now, Priye, I want to ask you this afternoon, have you thought of the cost of participating in politics? Have you thought of that? Have you thought of the party structures controlled by these older people? Because they tell you that we are the founding fathers. We are the owners. You came to meet us here and they start giving you rules and regulations on how the party should be run. Then lastly, another point I have here is that the activities, the cost of, so we have to use Nigeria here now, the cost of purchasing the form for running for an office. Do you really think that the amount they call for those forms, it favors the younger generation, the youth?
Great. Now, we've talked about them.
So it's not just about the policy. It's not just only signing it into law.
Political parties can only make rules or laws within their party structure to accommodate the youth. And they have a youthful wing of the political parties where you have youth leaders. Not only youth leader at the state or the regional level, they also have youth leader at the national level. So the youths, most of them constitute the foot soldiers of each of these political parties that we have, not only in Nigeria, in other parts of Africa also. So they have constituted a good demography for them through which they can operate and learn the art of leadership and politicking and governance as they go up through in their political career. But you know what? To our viewers out there, we are not just concerned about the governance structure. We are also concerned about the business economies and the development. We are concerned the Tony Elumelus, the Aliko Dangotes, the Mo Ibrahims, and other rich people in the continent of Africa whose largesse, benevolence, or will I say development activities with regards to each of these countries have contributed immensely to the development of the youthful populace. We'll also be discussing about that because politics is not only going to be our domain, business, economy, and development. We're also going to explore that, and we will look at the participation of the African youth in that terrain. So we're going to break at the moment. The program is just kicking off. This is Just Africa. We are reaching you live from our studios at Souqnews TV. Stay with us.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching Souq News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching Souq News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to watch, always watch Souq News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Bogaballs, and please keep watching Souq News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, Souq News, keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria and you're watching Souq News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
My name is Shino Gbadegeshin. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch Souq News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souq News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch Souq News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching Souq News, okay? Stay updated with Souq News.
My name is Aton Keme. I am the head of MSME banking. Please keep watching Souq News and stay glued to Souq News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch Souq News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souq News.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Before we went on that break, myself and Obivi, we made references to the youth involvement in politics. We also take a look at, probably we can start looking at the youth involvement in business economy and development. I mentioned Aliko Dangote, I mentioned the Tony Elumelu, and probably at Otedolas and other rich folks in Nigeria, the Mo Ibrahims of this world. Let's look at them. Have we produced enough? I know that we are trying currently because we can see some of the youths who are involved in developing the latest fintech apps currently, and some of them are the top of the of affairs when they talk about fintech, which is currently sweeping across the banking industry, not only in Nigeria, in the continent of Africa. And on that case, they've been able to, compete head to shoulders with the conventional banking system. And the conventional banking system sort of felt threatened that the way the fintechs are going, we might lose it, but they seem to be soft pedaling. So let's look at the youth population in that. Do we need the government to assist them in building these youths?
Yes.
To building their muscles for business, for their establishment. Some of them are inventors. They're into different kind of invention, manufacturing. I remember we had conversation with someone here, and he was talking about how he has learned to manufacture inverter batteries from scratch, improvising on the materials to be used to do that. And this guy is less than 30. He's just between 25 and 28. And he's been doing that for quite some time. But one critical thing holding him back from expanding goes to credit, which is money.
That is it. So first of all, you ask a question, if we have produced enough. We can never produce enough. It can never be more than enough because we have a very large population in Africa. So for any country, as a matter of fact, for any continent, you can never have enough. Just keep producing the people. Let the younger ones keep doing what they know how to do best. Let them continue to excel in innovation, in businesses, in their creativity, or whatsoever. No, you were talking about the fintech and the young guy that came the other day. Now, there are many others out there that are doing excellently well. But the major holdback is what you have mentioned, finance. So you see that people are skilled, so skilled at what they do. If you bring 10 Nigerians here now and they tell you about their ideas, their business ideas, they are mind-blowing. But one limitation, financing. Now, I think that is where the government comes in. Just before the show, I had a call, and the person said he's starting up a business, which I have always been on the know. And right now he said he needs like 10 million naira. He has done the major stuff that he needed to do. Now for the business to kickstart, he needed 10 million naira, and he was like, oh, maybe do you know where I can get 10 million naira loan? I said the best place to go, first of all, is the bank. And he said he has gone to a Citibank, which is where he operates. He has been asked, do you have collateral? Do you have a car? Do you have landed properties? And he said yes, but they still denied him. I said, okay, why don't you go to the Bank of Industry? And he just laughed. He said, you will not understand. I said, no, there is no harm in trying. Just try. Now, these are the limitations. This is where the government comes in. I think the government, what the government can actually do for young Nigerians like this is that you can create the atmosphere, create an atmosphere, or maybe whether I know microfinance banks are not into such amount of money, but let's make laws that are, I'm always saying it, laws that are flexible, where these young ones can actually have access to money, especially if they have collateral, because that is the major thing that banks use in case you are unable to pay back whatever you're loaning. They will have something to hold on to. Fine, why don't you, when these people have all this, and again, some of them don't have. So that one is also another factor. So the government can give them soft loan. It can just, maybe there are policies, there are laws, there are institutions that can actually give money to those people to start up their business. Okay, you may not give them so much at a time. Maybe, okay, we want to see your business grow. Let's give you so amount of money within a certain period of time. Okay, between 5 years, 1 to 5 years, let's see what will come up, what you'll be able to do with a certain amount of money. I know government has been doing it. They give loans, they give grants, they give different kind of assistance to young people, to young Nigerian youths, and even in other countries. And why don't we identify these Nigerians that are so creative, and let's use that to encourage them? Okay, you can go to social ministry, and this is the kind of money you will be able to have access to instead of deny them.
Great. Right. Well, that's not far to cry. Now, when I look at the demography, in South Africa, the youth population is almost 60%. In Kenya, the youth population is almost 50%. In South Africa, 50, or youth population in Kenya, 50%. In South Africa, the inclusion that we are talking about, whether it's within the terrain of business, economy, or development, or we're talking about governance, we could see that it boils back to what we spoke earlier. Most of the political parties or the structure of governance is dominated by the older generation.
Exactly.
And it is the same thing in Ghana, it's the same thing in Nigeria, it's the same thing in Kenya, in South Africa, and in other African countries. So there is a loud call for the youth population to get into the corridors of power, because it is it is when the continent of Africa has the youth population who are in there between 24 to 35, between 24 to 35, that because these are youths and they've mixed, if they have struggled to put 1, 2 naira or 1, 2 rands together to be able to establish and run a business to the extent that they are running an organization. They've been successful in building systems in their organization to the extent that if they serve as the founder or the chief executive officer, they are not around their businesses and running. It means that they've been able to build systems and put facilities in place. So they'll be able to translate that knowledge, that know-how, that business acumen, even into running state institutions, not just running state institutions the way the older generation have been running it, but with bearing in mind effectiveness, efficiency, and reaching down to the ebb of society. If they can do that, I'm sure the 1.4 billion people that we have in the continent of Africa will start experiencing some form of transformation. Transformation in what sense? Currently, within the continent of Africa, we are looking at focusing and fixing our derelict infrastructural state. So if we are going to do that, infrastructural state in transportation, infrastructure in train, in building roads, infrastructure in building healthcare centers, infrastructure in building good schools. Now, and we are talking about reinventing the whole curriculum of our learning in the continent of Africa, where technology or security will be taught not at the state of the tertiary institution, but right from the primary school to the secondary school and to university, courses that will align with our current economic realities. If we are going to do that, the older generation sometimes will require to really not just being a youth in their mind, which I consider a political statement that they make because they want to sound inclusive and to establish some form of affiliation with the youth. But put a youth by himself who went to government school, who knows the impact of living or reading without power.
I understand that clearly.
So if you can bring these people within into the system, and they can receive effective advice from the older generation whilst putting into implementation that which they feel that the youth needs to build an effective economy, I think we would thrive. And we can only thrive if some things are removed in the place. Now, when you talk about politics, purchasing political form for 500 million naira before you become the president or the governor, for governor probably 350 or 400 million naira, or 50 million naira, not 400, about 50 million naira or 150, 250 million naira to contest for a political position. The politicians know that if they are going to front anybody, sometimes the people who have this money, the people who they front does not have this money, and they have people sponsoring them. But he will need to pay back if he gets into that position. So politics cannot be removed from the whole equation. So if you are a youth, you must play politics in a way that will that will make you.
Now you see why I said the issue was a little bit sensitive at the beginning.
Oh yes, it might be sensitive, but it's not something that we can do with that. It's not something that cannot be surmounted.
Yes. No, you were talking about youth inclusion in governance right now. Now that youth should go for the power and all that. It's for a period of time now. You will know that the youth have actually come out and they've shown interest in governance. They've shown interest that, yes, we want to be part of policy making. For instance, the NSAS. The youth were asking for accountability. They were asking that there are certain things that are not going right. It is high time these things were done right. That was what they were. The South Africa-owned fees must drop, something like that.
Yes, in Kenya also they ask Occupy Parliament.
Good, Occupy Parliament. So you can see that from country to country in Africa, the youth have shown interest that, yes, we want to be part of it. Now, let's come back to Nigeria. What was the effect of the NSAS? Were policies not made during those times? Were decisions not made? Okay, the youth are going to be this, we are going to be this. Did they take effect?
The policies that were made, it was that SARS, as a unit of the Nigerian police force, was scrapped.
Good.
And it was changed to given SWAT. which is one of the demands that the youths made, that we need an end to SARS. And
yes, that they
so as a policy,
an end to it.
As a policy, they ended it and they brought in SWAT. Now, the youths also made another demand that, Mr. President, we need you to increase the salaries of Nigerian policemen, Nigerian police force, because we felt some of the places where they live, it's not good, and it has a way of affecting their psychology when they go to carry out their services. Some of these issues the government looked into, but most of the policies were not implemented. A few others that were made were implemented.
Good.
Now, before we continue having this conversation, we have our guest who is joining us now. Now, joining us on the program today in Just Africa is Ololade Ogunubi. She is a Nigerian social worker, youth advocate, and founder of the Lola Cater for the Needy Foundation, a non-profit making organization. She's dedicated to empowering vulnerable communities through education, healthcare, and social support. She also leads the African Youth Leads Initiative, a platform promoting youth inclusion, leadership, and participation across the continent of Africa. Ololade is a passionate person about governance and social change. Ogunubi has worked extensively with grassroots communities, mentoring young leaders and championing young involvement or youth involvement in decision-making. Her work positions her at the intersection of social impact, advocacy, and leadership development, making her a strong voice on the continent of Africa and, I dare say, in Nigeria youth inclusion agenda. Ololade Ogunubi, welcome to the program. Okay, Ololade, could you please unmute your device so we can hear you?
All right, yeah. I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear. Welcome to Just Africa. It's been good having you.
All right, same here. Thank you very much.
Great. Now, let me ask you, when the term youth, youth advocacy, youth inclusion in business, economy, development, youth inclusion in governance, or youth, or when you see advocate group or civil society organization group try to expand the frontiers of youth involvement in issues like governance and in policy making across the continent or in Nigeria, what comes to your mind?
Okay, so what comes to my mind is now is the time. If I want to use a word, I would say youth o'clock, right? So I want to believe gone are the days where we have to depend on a certain age group to make decisions for us. Like the saying says, there's nothing for us without us, you know, so you can't keep being in a position where you make decisions for me and I'm able-bodied, I can think rightly, I can do what I feel is right for me, I can decide or make decisions on what is best for me, but then I have to leave it in the hands of a certain people to make that decision for me. So when I say youth speaking up, yes, it's a great thing and it's something that should be encouraged because I think we've gone past the time where we have to ensure they make decisions for us and we can make it on our own. So yeah, definitely for everyone making the advocacy, for everyone speaking up. I know in Nigeria currently, I'm also part of the group that is now advocating for youth quota, you know, in governance, because I know there's still the fight with women quota in governance. And I feel the government will be tired of us because all of this needs to be, you know, all of this needs to be advocated for. And I feel like if we don't do that, they feel like, oh, they're fine. Excuse me, they're okay. They're good to go. But if we don't speak up, then the cycle keeps going. Thank you.
Okay, so let me ask you one more question about the youth. You just spoke about something quite very interesting because currently as we speak, the United Nations has been pushing an agenda where they want a quota of women to be represented in parliament in the continent of Africa. And it's an idea they want all African countries to imbibe. Yeah. Now, you just made references to youth quota. Currently now in Nigeria, some political groups are equally pushing the agenda that we should have about 35% of the legislators be representing the youth gender, whether in the red chamber, which is the Senate, or in the green chamber, which is the House of Representatives, and also by extension in the state assemblies and at also the local government level where they become councillors. So now tell me, you are talking about the youth quota. Are you restricting that to the National Assembly, or the State Assembly, or the local government level? Could you please tell us more about this and how you want it or you envisage it to function?
So can I get a question again? Just the last one.
Tell us more about the youth quota. How do you want it to function, the youth quota?
Okay, so yeah, the same way women are advocating for a quota in either the red chamber or the green chamber, the people's parliament or the people's house, is the same way youth should also come out and say, hey, it is time for a voice. It's time for us to also have a representative in the house. I know I was also part of the women quota where we were advocating for, oh, you can't make certain decisions for women because you are not a woman, right? And it's still the same way you can't make decisions for the youth. Because yeah, you might want to argue you've gone through those stage, you know what? But hey, the world is changing, right? Things are changing. So there's nothing wrong with we having fresh brains in the house. There's nothing like we having youth representation in the house. I'll give you an example. I had a friend who we schooled together at the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. And he was telling me about how he now works with the senator in the house, and he helps make the policy recommendation and what she presents at the floor of the house. And fast forward to December last year, the web member, sorry, the senator was given an award as one of the performing senator in the house, and also was it called like a policy recommendation, a policy papers, and all of them were always on points. And trust me, that is the work of the youths working behind. So imagine if you give such youth an opportunity to be in the house to lead. I wanted to just imagine what could have happened. So I feel like you shouldn't just be used as an instrument of, oh, let me appoint you to be in that position because I wanted you to work with me. But what happens to also giving that youth the same opportunity to be able to be out there and also lend his or her voice to it? So I feel youth are being, what's it called? Left behind in a way because, of course, I know there's always the argument of what experience do you have, what do you know about politics and all of that. But I keep telling you something so that we don't really have to wait to actually get it. So what can we do? We can be at the corridor of power. We can be around power. We can, just like I stated about a friend, working with a senator. It could also be the same thing. It shouldn't even be about the money. I keep telling people that I don't mind working pro bono. Working pro bono means I just want to want to be there. I don't mind working for free. I don't mind paying my transport fare to come here and see how it works every day. So that it prepares me. And when we come back to the table with these our elders and they come back to tell us, what experience do you have? What exactly are you bringing to the table? Then we can tell them, oh, I've volunteered for this person in the past. I've worked with this person. I know how it works in the house. I know how it works at the Senate. I know how it works in the presidency. I know how it works. Name it, whatever tier of government they want to bring about to say, what experience do you have working for us to give you that position? And I also feel like for you to be able to, work in those positions, volunteer for them, it also gives you elevate to know, okay, this is how where the loopholes are. And this is how I feel I can work to ensure that, the cycle doesn't continue any longer. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ololade. In fact, you're beautiful this beautiful afternoon. But I want to ask, critics argue that many young Nigerians, many youth rather, not just Nigerians now, Africans, that we do not, they lack the experience, they lack the network, they lack the financial strength to be in power. What is your take on that?
Okay, yeah. So financial strength, yes, a whole lot. I know we've been advocating for what's it called? For youths not being like picking up forms, youths not I know some political parties will say, oh, pay 50% of the form. while some will say, oh, it's totally free. But I think it's mostly for women that it's totally free, right? But I know for the youths, you might maybe I think they were given like 50%, that you have to pay for. But yeah, where do we get the money from? And I listened to your colleague where he was also saying that most people don't have the money to buy these party forms and get the tickets. So you need the buying of someone. And by getting the buying of someone, it means you have to do the person's bidding, irrespective. So for me, I think if we youth can come together, which I know is very hard because, of course, there are like different political parties, there are different ideas, there are different interests. I think that's what there are different interests. So there's no possibility of I would have suggested okay, maybe we'll have like a youth pulse, you're sponsoring somebody. But in the case that that is not going to happen, it still boils down to please volunteer, please work with these guys. Who knows? Somebody might want to sponsor, somebody might want to say how be of help to you, but it now means that they know you for who you are. So you already know the kind of person I'll be. So it means if I'm going there, I may probably do the right thing and not do your bidding. But that can only come from the place of the person already know you for who you are. And not so I've had instances whereby um those in power in quotes make references to, oh, you guys wanted the youth to lead, and now we just give a particular youth look at how we fumbled, look at how she fumbled, and all of that. So they already know that, oh, if we give this person this opportunity or that person, we already know what this person is capable of doing. But let's come back to the instances where they already know you to be upright, they already know you will do the job. I was with someone yesterday and they said, oh, there's no funding in this agency. But he was able to list out what and what and what he has been doing. In fact, he said he even told the president that, that don't worry, I know the agency is dead, but just give me few years, few months rather, and you see a turnaround. And when he was listing everything he's done, and trust me, it can only come from someone that is visionary. All right. So it also still boils down coming back. Yes, we may not have the support. I know that most youths during elections, campaigns, and all are, of course, usually being bought over. So you will see where there's a party structure or primary that had people with 50 years, 20, maybe 50 and above. And you see maybe a youth that is coming out, that's probably in his 20s or in his early 30s. And of course, there's a statistic that says 70% of Nigerians' population are youth. So tell me why the youths want to, go. But I also feel, like I said, there are a lot of interest. I think that's even the keyword. It's interest. So if you don't pay me, why should I vote for this particular youth? If I wouldn't benefit, why should I vote for this particular youth? When I can, work with this elderly person or work with this person now. I remember when our president came and everyone kept, and maybe on social media, kept saying the word may Tinubu's administration favor me and my family. And I kept asking, so what happens to other people? So that's to tell you that personal interest, I think that's what personal interest plays a huge effect. I hope that answers the question.
Personal interest will take me to the next question of tokenism. Now, when I use the word, we are clamoring for youth inclusion in governance, business, and in every sector in Africa. But there is this scenario whereby a youth might be given a position. You are just bearing the title as a secretary or as an auditor or something. But in the real sense, the youth is actually not holding that position. Maybe it's just a name. What do you have to say about that? How do we fight against that? Someone comes and tells you, I'm an SSA to the president. While in the real sense, the person is actually not playing the role of an SSA. So what do you have to say about that? How do we fight it?
All right, so the reason why I'm actually smiling is because, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And okay, so I'll give you small context. I currently serve as a technical assistant, so the essay to the president on youth initiatives. And so, yeah, I can say it's not been easy. I know of other people that have the same appointments and probably not doing anything. And there's also this saying, oh, your appointment is given to you to what's the word, to go home and chill, not necessarily to do anything. And I hear that from people that feels like it is the government's money. They just spend it and go. Besides, it's not like you have to report to the president every day to say, this is what I'm doing. It felt like a regime of, or it was, how let's say it, it's something they do every time. It's administration coming, administration goes. It's still the same thing. But my boss will say something. She will say, what will I tell my child? What will I tell my children I did when I was given that particular assignment? So, and I also feel like it takes someone that has integrity and accountability, and that knows that I feel it is a duty. It's a call to duty, but most people don't feel that way, and that's because, like I said, it's the orientation. And don't also forget, there's also a fight I always fight, and I think even during the election or after the election, it's still the same thing for me. That can we move from the place of rewarding, like what's it called, giving people position based on reward instead of merits? When do we stop that? And that is why you see most appointees are not working. Most what's it called, positions or offices are not striving the way they are meant to strive. Why? The positions were given to them on a reward basis and not on merit basis. So no one view to go and check to see, is this person deserving of this award, position against be given to this person, or because the person helps me win campaign in Israel states, the person was a vocal person or a vocal voice in the state, or the person helped me with mobilization in the local community. So why not SA to the governor, SSA to the president? I feel it shouldn't be. And I know that is where all of this comes from. If we start moving from reward basis to merit basis, I think we're going to eliminate that. But for now, it is well.
Thank you very much. Now, thank you, Ololade. But let's even look at it very well from an objective point of view. Between 2019, during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, it was the president that signed into law the Not Too Young to Run bill in Nigeria, where the constitution was amended to reduce the age of those who can become president, who can become governors, senators, or house honorable representatives in the Green Chamber, and other functionaries of government, political functionaries of government. It was during his administration that made some form of inclusion from the side of the government, even though it was championed from the United Nations by virtue of the youth's voice that was raised globally. In that specific case, those age was amended. If you look at Nigeria very well, about 60% of, if not more than 60%, are youth population in a population of 200 million people, and if not more. In the continent of Africa, more than 60% if we look at it. If the youths alone in the northern part of the country, in the southern part of the country, come together to form a political party and to harness their population as an instrument to take over the annals of government in Nigeria, in Zimbabwe, in Ghana, in South Africa, they are going to come out becoming, having the position of the president, the Senate president, the vice president, and they are going to take over government completely. But it looks as if the older generation have been able to puncture or break into the ranks of the youth to make sure that they are not together, or maybe the youth themselves are not chasing the kind of leadership that you and I want for the country or the continent to go through economic and political transformation. Is it not safe to say that the youths are working against themselves or working for their rivals?
All right, so the reason I'm laughing is because, there's always something I usually say to when I hear about the Not Too Young to Run bill. To me, it felt like, sorry, hard because it's already passed now. To me, it feels like the youth wanted this. There's been so many protests, there's been so many campaigns, there's been so many blocking of National Assembly, blah, 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 give it to them. And it feels like it's on paper, but in reality, we all know in reality that's not the case. It's on paper for us.
I don't know. In reality, I don't know. there has been a law. There's a law for the youth to run, so they can run. If the youth can sustain themselves, in the case of Nigeria, where they organized NSAS and they were able to provide money to sponsor and kept themselves at the toll at that bridge or in somewhere in Lagos Island, and they sustained their presence there, where there was food, there was water, there was refreshment to keep themselves perpetually there. I think they can mobilize funds, not only create a political party, to register it, and also to fund whoever they are going to vote in as their presidential flag bearer of the political party. In Kenya too, the youth have been quite vocal and they've occupied parliament. It looks like the youth has it all, but they are not deploying to include themselves in governance. So I don't know, probably you should know. So tell us more about it.
Yeah, so for me, I feel just like you said, it's just few people that have the interest. And one thing about Nigerian youth that I've come to understand is Nigerian youth to come out to do things that probably won't add value. Imagine, I think what most of everyone is doing right now is Gengen University and Saboje University. Is that what we need right now? We see few people. And trust me, even with the NSAS protest and every other protest we've had, trust me, when you meet an average Nigerian youth at the protest ground and ask them, why are you here? They don't know. Few people are informed and a whole lot are not informed. When you talk about politics, when you talk about campaign, when you talk about election, they'll tell you elections are not won on Twitter, on X. Elections are not won online, but in the grassroots. I've gone for community engagement before, and we were having conversation, and I was trying to speak on something. And you need to see the women in the community speaking so well of the APC government. And I'm like, oh, it's a different ball game online. So that's to tell you that few people are informed, and a whole lot more are not informed. When you go back to talk about the NSAS protest, what happened? They needed someone to flaunt it. The person that started the whole thing and was always helping pulled out. And everyone kept coming back to say, oh, it was hijacked. Hijacked by who? And it still goes back to what I said before. Personal interest. The FEMCO that were getting the donations and seeking for donations and all, till today, they still haven't been able to account for what they got. So most times when we all sincerely sit back and look at all of those things, even our leaders will be laughing. To say, okay, is this the set of people that actually want to lead? Answers, they were asked, okay, bring forth who is heading the team. Can we have conversations? Who exactly can we talk to? Everyone was pulling backward. I still feel people going to represent you. Naira Marley and Duvex. Like how?
I think FARS actually came out in that period. I remember BBC interviewing FARS during the NSAS. But you can continue.
Right? So there were so many, like I'll come back to say, still has to burden to personal interest. Till today, how much was spent, what came in, no one has been able to account for it. It has been one dragging or the other on Twitter. Everyone kept saying that the NSAS protest bets Labour Party, the driver and all of that. But did we all see the result at the end of the day? I keep telling people that we made so much mouth before election. Oh, Labour Party is going to do A, Labour Party is going to do B, the youth are involved, the youth are going to be doing this. I monitored the election for an international NGO and I was disappointed at what I saw on ground. And I came back to ask myself, so what happened to the youth that were protesting? What happened to the youth that were always online advocating, doing a certain thing? And even most of them, when you find out or asked later, you hear things like, my mama said, I no come out because anything could happen and all of that. But you were given a wrong impression online, and that come what may, we'll be at the polling booth, come what may, we will sit there and make sure that what's it called? Was our voting sheet or whatever was counted. We will be there to ensure that the right figures and the right whatever was put in. in the results, whatever, we would follow it to the very end, we would do this. My dear, none of that happened. Maybe in some places it might, but for where I monitored and checked things, nothing like that happened. So we need to really move from the part of we will be advocating online, and when it has to do with doing the work on ground, then you find no one.
All right.
Thank you so much. Okay, Lolade, are you still there? Okay. Priye, I wanted to ask her something very, very important. The risk of not including the youth in governance, in business, and in economy. Lolade, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. You've talked so much. We've talked about the inclusion and all that. What risk do we stand as Africa, as a continent? What risk there is that we are likely going to face if youth are not included in governance, in business, and in economy of Africa?
All right, so there's a saying that says no nation will stand without its youths. Imagine we have Nigeria, and the statistics keep saying 70% of Nigerian population are the youths. I think that answers the question. So you don't carry them along. Look at the best of mind, the brightest of mind. Anyway, it's the youths. You get out, you say awards, online, or this person was awarded this person was awarded that, home and abroad. It is still the youths. And I keep saying, if all of those talents, bright minds, we export out of the country, imagine them working in a country. Imagine if there's an enabling environment for them to strive. Because I know that, let's be realistic, some cases or some instances are not favorable to make some Nigerian youth strive. But imagine if all of those loopholes are fixed, and these people that are making, having the brightest of mind out there. Had a friend that left, I think, Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, out of the country, and I now works outside the country with, the same whatever in another country abroad. And when it was going, a friend was saying something, said, Nigeria is losing a bright mind, because we know the impact it gave to that age. And imagine if we have hundreds of them staying back in Nigeria and helping. We can all just imagine what it would have looked like. We know the environment is not striving. We hope the government does better. But trust me, no government, no country will strive without its youths. When it has to do with innovations, when it has to do with, fixing things and all, I think it just still has to boil down to the youth. The only thing we need is the enabling environments, the right support to ensure that, there's a platform for you to strive. We don't have that. And that's why you see us exporting, talents, exporting people that would have been of benefit to us. And before it is in less than 2 years, they're out there. You can see, the applause to say, this person just moved out of the country 2 years ago, has joined this team, has joined this one, has done this one. And you can see they applaud. And that's why when I usually like when I see, foreigners coming to Nigeria and say they're doing a trade fair or job fair and all of that, and our government don't say anything wrong in it. I see a lot wrong in it. Because if other countries are coming to your country to export your talent out of the country, it means there's something wrong somewhere, and you're not seeing it. It means those outside the country are seeing Nigerian youth, knows the benefits, and it feels like, your government are not seeing it. I am seeing it, and I should take them and work with them. And I've not even seen any one of them that says, work for a particular number of years and come back to your country. No, I've not seen anywhere. Maybe just most times, usually the scholarship part, they say, okay, you study abroad for 2 years and come back to your country and continue. But for the job fairs, I've never seen anyone that said, come to our country and work for a particular number of years and you're mandated to come back to your country and develop it. That has not happened. So I feel there's a whole lot that needs to be done. Thank you.
So much. Ololade Ogunobi, please don't go anywhere. We want to go on a break since you've started talking about the youth's participation in business, economy, and development. When we come back from this break, that is the aspect where our conversation will be tailored towards. We want to see the Mike Adenugas, the Femi Otedolas, the Aliko Dangotes. We want to see them recreate themselves in Nigerian youth, and not only in Nigerian youths, in the youth population in Africa, so that we can have those who are bringing development, bringing inclusion, and developing other youths. We'll go on a break. When we come back from this break, we'll continue our conversation. Just stay with us.
My name is Souqnews TV. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch Souqnews.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souqnews.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch Souqnews TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching Souqnews, okay? Stay updated with Souqnews.
My name is Aton Keme. I am the head of MSME banking. Please keep watching Souqnews and stay glued to Souqnews.
I recommend that more and more people should watch Souqnews News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching Souqnews.
Welcome to the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC. ADSC is an organization focused on training and research to advance sustainable development and growth in Africa. We exist to facilitate customized training, research, and study exchanges worldwide on leadership, management, and critical development issues. The center offers a platform for the exchange of ideas and best practices. Our comprehensive services encompass research, consultancy, capacity building, training, and education programs, as well as publishing and disseminating development-related knowledge. Our faculty consists of experts and researchers with extensive experience in policy formulation, implementation techniques, and monitoring and evaluation. Our methodology involves talks, individual and group exercises, games, video screenings, and discussion seminar sessions in a cozy atmosphere, making learning enjoyable for our participants. For more information, email us at info@adstudiecenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website at www.adstudycenter.com to learn more about our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
It's been a great program with you right here on Just Africa. We are having a conversation with Ololade Ogunobi. She is a Nigerian social worker, youth advocate, and founder of the Lola Cater for the Needy Foundation. And we've been talking about African youth population and the need for we to have them included into business, economy development, and also in governance. We have spent and exhausted much time talking about the political aspect and the governance aspect. Now we'll go to business. Lolade, if you were here, if you're still there, rather, please, can you confirm? Are you there with me? Okay, she will join us in as the conversation proceeds. Now we're going to talk about business. I keep mentioning the Tony Elumelus, the Aliko Dangotes,
Yes.
And all of that. So welcome back. Many thanks for joining us, Ololade. Welcome back to the program.
You're welcome.
So now we have been talking about the political aspect and the need for youth inclusiveness in governance. Now let's go to business, economy, and development. The Aliko Dangotes, the Femi Otedolas, the Hebrews, and the rich people, the Dantatas that we have in Nigeria and other rich folks that we have in Zimbabwe, in the Gambia, in South Africa, in Tanzania, most of them now are above 50s. And we need to create new people that will, whether they are in their early 30s or in their late 20s or in their mid 30s or early 40s, we need to create new generation of these Aliko Dangotes and the Tony Elumelus who can come in and build business empires and, solve the problem of youth unemployment in the continent of Africa. Do you see the African youth or the Nigerian youth walking in this light or in this step? Would we say the youth generation will be able to cater to the unemployment needs or the unemployment population in Africa in the next 20, 25 years?
All right, so I feel if we're going to be talking about in the next 25 years, then it has to start from now, right? I know what happened to those businesses where you established in the 1800, 18.
Are you still there? Ms. Lolade, I think we're having a network glitch there. And I really want to hear her speak about. Okay, welcome back. Please continue with your line of thought.
Okay, but you don't see that anymore, right? So there's no that sustainability anymore. And for us to go back to the Alikos, the Dangotes, the what's it called, the $10 and all, yeah, they had backing, they had financial support. And that's why I tell people, especially young people, if you win anything, if you got anything, if anything was accorded to you, if you succeeded in it, please celebrate it. Because I know it took a while, it took a lot for you to get that. If I get as little as small grants in my organization, I'm proud because it means that I put in a whole lot without knowing anybody, right? And I got it. So it's a whole lot. And that's why I tell people that no matter how little it is, please celebrate your own win, right? And trust me, for the upcoming ones, I feel we can see them more in the entertainment industry, in the fashion industry. Give it to the likes of Vicky James. I was seeing a BBC documentary recently that now says that even prom dresses abroad are now being shipped from Nigeria to, to abroad to where? That's not something, it feels like the focus is now on Nigeria, right? The Nigerian fashion industry. And who are those again to see them? Mostly the youths, mostly the young ones. Look at the tech industry, look at fintech springing up here and there. It is still from the youths, right? So I feel, yes, in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 years, if we still have the right enabling environments, what's it called? We have the right resources. Oh, trust me, Nigerian youth are up there. Nigerian youth are ready. Nigerian youth can strive anywhere. I think that's the word. They'll tell you Nigerian they carry last because anywhere they find themselves, they will strive. Right. So yes, I don't see us having issues to say Nigerian youth can't provide, the necessary jobs, the funding, the increasing our GDP and all of that in the next 20 years. No, I feel even now, I've seen so many, maybe another one we probably not paying much attention to is also in the agri sector. I've been in places where, like an hackathon for youth in agri, and I was wowed by the ideas and innovation. And the government agencies, they said, oh, there's just little they can fund and not all. And I felt bad because imagine if we're able to get people that can fund, all of those ideas and those bright minds. Trust me, we'll be having a different story by now. I just pray it gets better. I think that's the only thing I can say.
Yeah, I have 2 questions to ask, but I want to ask this one first. You have worked at the intersection of policy, social work, and policy. What inspired you?
Oh, cheers. Okay, so yeah, I heard that a whole lot. So what inspired me? I started off, I think from my youth service day. I got my posting to the north, to Nasarawa State to be precise, and so I had cultural shocks, when I got in. Things were different. On camp, I volunteered for VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas. And so one of the criteria from what we were taught on camp was to be a volunteer teacher in a local community and, report back and all of that. And whenever I go to this particular school, I was posted to volunteer there, even though it was once in a week and all. I get to the school and see that, kids, and they come to school, they come in very late to school. And I'm like, that's how, like, because I'm coming from Lagos, where education was important, where if you're not in school, it means you're probably not feeling so well, right? And that's why you're not. And I was wondering, like, it's different. Or when I'm going for my clearance and I'm seeing a mother boast of a female child going to be married off to a 50-year-old plus man as a fourth wife and fifth. I'm like, how now? She's not even done with school. And a lot of things. And I just felt like, no, I feel like so many lives are being wasted. I feel like so many things are not adding up. I felt like they could be more, and they are not assessing, or what word did I even put it? I feel that they were wasting it. I think that's the word, even though I feel like it's great. And so yeah, that's how the journey started. That was how Lola Kita Foundation started. We started with ensuring that more girls are in school, more children are in school. We worked with a lot of school children, ensuring that more kids are back in school. Then we also noticed that it is not just about keeping the children in school. How do they sustain? How do they survive? And then we also talked about empowerment, empowering the mothers, empowering the youths, empowering the breadwinners. Even though I also got the cultural shock of women are not allowed to work, or to also the men are meant to like, hey God, what's this? But yeah, I can say that narratives are changing. And over time, working in the space, we get called by the government to do policy recommendations and all of that. So before now, or still now, I tell people, so when they ask, who am I? I say, yeah, I serve as an intermediary between the people and the government, because then I've gotten to work with the people, someone that has been recognized by the government, and when there are things that has to do with policy recommendations and know that would benefit the masses of the people, I can say I'm privileged to be one of those that always being reached out to. So yeah, that's what held me back, the intermediary between the people and the government. And I think with that, so you also give me an opportunity to work with the government. I've had opportunity to work in the presidency, to work in the governors at the Nigerian Governors Forum, at also National Assembly, even though it's the House of Representatives for now, but at least it has given the opportunity to be able to speak, and also at the state level too. Yes, and also at the state level. So it's, I think in a nutshell, that is how all of that came to be.
Thank you so much, Olalade, and we really want you to keep all the good work that you're doing. We appreciate you. So moving on, I want to ask questions. We are still focusing on the economic aspect of the Nigerian youth. Now I want to ask, what sector do you think, if given to if capital and opportunities are given to the African youth, what sector do you think they will dominate most?
I would say the technology sector. You've seen so many instances come up. I think there was a time there's this what's it called? I think a guy from Unilag or Yabatek, I can't remember, that created an AI app that can speak in any language, just like the way you use your chat GPT or for voiceover and all of that. I won't challenge people, even the government, please. I feel I know before coronavirus and all of that, there used to be series of hackathons. Then maybe some youth used to feel like, oh, these people want to steal our ideas and all of that. But then he also put people in checks. He also puts the government in check to say that, hey, funding can also go into this sector. Funding can, elevate one or two things. So I feel like if the tech sector is being, what's it called, encouraged, is being financed, trust me, there are a whole lot of ideas out there. And also in the agri sector, I know the president has declared a state of emergency on food security and all of that. So yeah, why not? There, like I said, I've been in hackathons where youths were suggesting, talking about the agri space and the agri sector, and I'm like, if only we can be given the opportunity. I know more can be done. And I know, okay, last year too, I was privileged to be part of the delegation from the presidency that went to FAO. to talk about how we can have the Nigerian chapter of the World Food Forum. So I know that's a step in the direction, but still, how many youths knows there's something like that? And it also takes just someone that went for the trip the year before and saw that hey, other country youths are striving in the agri sector. They were harnessing all the opportunities in the agri sector worldwide and found out that Nigeria does not have. And when he came back and told me about it, they're like, oh, okay, that's nice. I think we can go about it this way. We can speak to this person. And that's how the delegation was built. But I also know that most youths, may not have the opportunity and that privilege that I have to be a voice in that instance. So I know you get something like the Minister of Youth also telling you, oh, I operate an open door policy. You can walk into my office. You can do this. Yeah, it's actually nice, but I feel like there should also be more channels where Nigerians can express themselves. Nigerians can come up with ideas that need funding. I spoke about the office I work with, and I know how I receive calls, mails, and what's it called? Messages from Nigerian youths almost every day. Oh, I have this business idea. I need funding for it. And I have to start advising, please visit this ministry, visit this agency, visit this department for it. Well, even though we know it might probably not be there, but at least it's a step in that direction. Most youth are not informed. I think that's the word. And when the government comes out to say, oh, we've empowered thousands of people, thousands of youth, and you keep wondering, where exactly are they? But I also know that if Nigerian youths start getting inclusive, like I want to know, they just finished TCAD, the Japan, whatever, there's the Brazil. How many of us are coming to start asking questions now to say, oh, okay, those benefits and whatever that the president has signed for Nigerians, how are we following it up? The job opportunities in Japan, how are we following it up? I think there were like 4 or 5 countries that African countries that were given a particular space in what was it called in Tokyo to say, Japan to say, okay, Nigerian youths can settle here or people can settle here. In the next 2-3 days, I'm not sure Nigerians to start asking the right questions. It's still you want to be on Gengen's university, Abiz, whatever university. But these are like the questions we need to start asking. Minister of Power said he assigned so and so billion. Minister of Innovation, of course, which is also in the tech, whatever, has also signed billions of naira for, of dollars or whatever for Nigerian youths in the tech sector. But how many of us are asking to ensure that all of these things that are signed actually gets to us, or it's just signed on paper or in words? But if we don't ask questions, if we don't, hold these people accountable, so to say, they'll come back and tell you thousands of Nigerian youth has been empowered and there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Ololade, as we round up on the conversation, I need you to answer this question. You were making references to some of the good works you did in the northern parts of the country, and you also mentioned that you engaged in empowerment, and you mentioned breadwinners in the family. So what kind of empowerment did your organization do? And how does it translate to the economic well-being of the people that you empowered, that your organization empowered?
Okay, so looking back on 2019 that we started off, we're able to, I think in the last 6 years now, we would say we've been able to empower over 40,000 students in 25 states in Nigeria. And the funny question is that people ask me, have I been to 25 states in Nigeria? No, I haven't. But it's made sense because we see other Nigerians that see what the organization is doing and they are willing to do a step down.
What kind of empowerment did you give to these 40,000 youth?
Okay, so to start with the children or the students, so to say, there's a series of empowerment. We do the back to school campaign thing where we empower students with learning materials, school bags, school shoes, what's it called? Learning materials, so to say, in school. We've done series of mentorship programs for children. We are currently even running one for the summer class where we have children or teenagers, so to say, and youths, yes, learn a tech skill during the summer holiday. I think they'll be graduating at the end of this month, 700 of them. In April, to commemorate International Day of the Girl Child, we empowered over 500 girls, yes, in tech. And it was a big one. In fact, we had an invite from the Speaker of the House of Representatives to come talk about how we could step down such tech training for girls nationwide, and also with the committee on public accounts.
Sorry, let me interrupt you again. Sorry, Ololade. Now, your organization have been able to empower about 700 students for tech, and for ladies, for the girls, also about 500. That's like 1,200. How did you come about the funding for this empowerment?
Okay, so yeah, funding is from partnership. Funding comes from, talking to people to say, this is what I want to do. I know the organizations that we can reach out to. For this, it's a tech training. So definitely means everybody we're going to be reaching out to or talking to are going to be in the tech sector. And also we partnership from what's called the Ministry of Youth Development. We had to partner with the Ministry of Youth Development, with the Nigerian Governors Forum, and the Committee of State Commissioners of Education. So those were our key partners that we worked with. Then apart from the other tech organizations, we're able to work with to ensure that we have these children empowered. And I think another key thing we currently do is we currently run a free school for IDP camp children, hundreds of them. It's been running in the last 3 years, where we provide them with basic education. And I can say there's a success story to that. So because we've had some of the girls' child drop out of school. And when upon inquiry, they were like, oh, their friends at home are married and they look like small children coming to school when their age mates are married. And the question is, how old are you? And she's 13. So if a 13-year-old friend at home is married, there's that cultural and social orientation that says at that age she should be married. And what I've been able to do is to take these children out. They've been able to meet with the First Lady. They've been able to meet with the Minister for Women Affairs. They've had opportunity to meet with the Speaker House of Reps. They've had opportunity to meet with even a girl child author that we bring to discuss a role model for her. Her name is Achezi. They've had opportunity to meet with the Children Parliament Speaker, Ibrahim. That's a former one from Borno State. We've taken them out on series of, activities and events just so they could change their orientation and mindset, limiting them to, their environment and where they are, just there that there's more to life than you wasting away. There's more to life than you being married at the age of 13. There's more you can do. Achezi is just 10. So if Achezi can travel the world representing Nigerian children at different forums and writing books for the Nigerian children, then you at 13 or you at 14 or you at 15 can do more.
Thank you so much, Ololade, for your time with us. Now, we actually want to carry on having the conversation because it's been quite a delight having this conversation with you. We don't want to stop, but we need to stop because of time. Thank you so much for your time with us today on Just Africa. So, Ololade Ogunubi is a Nigerian social worker, youth advocate, and founder of the Lola Cater for the Needy Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to empowering vulnerable communities through education, healthcare, and social support. She also leads the African Youth Leads Initiative, a platform promoting youth inclusion, leadership, and participation across Africa. Thank you so much, Ololade, for your time with us on Just Africa today. It's been a good moment speaking with you.
For having me. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay. Yes, so
wow,
what a good place to draw the curtain.
Yes, a very good one. And I really hope, pray, that the government will open the pipeline for youth inclusion for the next generation as soon as possible. Look at the likes of Ololade. She is a bright mind. And look at where she's coming from, where she started from. Just in camp, NYC camp. Yeah. Well, most of us went there, although we all have different goals and visions in life, but look at how far she has gone with the little she started, and look at what she has achieved so much so far. That tells you that, yes, we have bright minds in Africa. That tells you that, yes, Nigerian youth can actually do so much, whether in governance, whether in business, whether in any sector. Like she said, which is something that Nigerian youth should actually look into, the agricultural sector. We shouldn't see it as a sector for the older people. We shouldn't see it as a sector for only people who are planning retirement or something. That is an industry that many people have not tapped into. And that is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Because we can never be satisfied. We will always be hungry. So until youth decide to go into that industry, into the commercial system of agriculture, I know we will still come back to financing it. We know, but first of all, the interest should be there first. Let's go and explore that sector. Yes, we don't want to create content. We want all the social media platforms to pay easy money, quick money, and all that. But yes, after dancing and jumping in front of the camera, you're still going home to look for something to eat. And the world will always eat. So I think for Nigerian youth, as we're talking about inclusion, as we are talking about governance, let's also look at that sector. Let's go there and see what we can do with it. Not just the fintech, not just selling and buying, but let's go into production. And when I say production, I'm talking about agricultural production.
Great. And that's a place to draw the curtain on the program. The Femi Otedolas, the Mike Adenugas, the Aliko Dangotes, and the Tony Elumelus all started from a specific point in their life, probably when they were younger, in their youthful age. You can do likewise. Ololade Ogunubi is one of them who has started in this youthful age. And through her, thousands of young people are being raised from the ground up, getting tech skills and experiencing some form of development and going through the ladder of life. You can do same thing. Yes. My name is Oyinpriye Krumale. Many thanks for watching. Please do well to follow us on all our social media platforms of Souqnews TV. I'm Oyinpriye Krumale. Once again, do have yourself a splendid day.
And I am Omevi Idolo. Thank you for watching.